Alrighty, so let me make something clear. I am not a sales guru. I'm not a sales professional. I don't sell a course or coaching program or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm not even that good at sales. Okay, I've just found a way, me and my partner found a way to close over millions of dollars using this sales process I'm going to share with you. Okay, so I'm not guaranteeing it's going to work for you. I'm just sharing what I have done, and you can copy it if you want to do just that. And I'm going to make something clear. I will give you this whole entire thing at the end of the video, including the script down here, which I'll get to later, so stick around for that. And I'll also give you some other golden nuggets which you can use. So let's dive right in. First thing first, every sales process is the same in some essence. I don't care if you follow Jeremy Miner or Alex Hormozi or Bill Walsh or anyone in the sales space. Every process is somewhat the same. And the whole goal of the sales process is to do one thing and one thing only. It is to get the prospect to make a decision. It's to get them to say either, yes, I will buy, or no, I will not buy. It is to get them to decide on their future, to decide on what they're going to do moving forward. Okay, so the goal is not to close. It's not to get them to buy. No, none of that. It is simply to help and to serve. It is to give them an opportunity, to give them time, to give them information, education, implementation, whatever the case may be. Okay, because the word sell comes from an old English word sell, which means to give. Okay, it means to give. Literally, sales came from the word sell-in, which means to give. Okay, this is the most important part about the sales process. Okay, because if you do not have a clear idea of what sales is, you'll be running around in circles blind, asking questions because Jeremy Miner said so. Yet you end up getting prospects leaving the call, getting mad at you, and you closing no deals, which we obviously don't want because you're here because you want to get better sales and make more money. And so that is not sales. That is just stupidity. Yet that's what most people do. Okay, and so we want to understand why we ask the questions we ask. And so the reason we ask questions even in the first place is very simple. I'll ask you a question. If you went to a doctor and said, hey doc, my head hurts a little bit, right? And he said, oh, okay, well, try some of these meds. One of them might make you feel better. Would you trust him? Would you take the medication? Well, probably not. Okay, and that's because he knows nothing about your problem. So how could he solve it? Alrighty, and this is why we need to ask questions. Okay, we need to ask questions to understand the prospect's problem, to prescribe them the proper solution, to see if we could even help. All right, but if you do not understand this, you will ask useless questions that lead you nowhere. Okay, every question the doctor asks is to understand your problem in depth, not to get you to like him. Okay, it is simply it's for him to understand your problem. That's it. And so similarly in sales, you should only ask questions that move the sale forward. Alrighty, following along here. Alrighty, and so the last thing I want to touch on before I get into the script and kind of framework here is, as we can recall from up above, sales is just helping someone decide. And so if we want someone to make a decision, we have to be sure of ourselves first. Because if we're unsure of ourselves, how can our prospect put their trust in us, in our words, or in our service? They can't. And so having conviction and speaking with confidence and power and leading the conversation will do more for you than any sales tactic I or any professional guru could give you. And so lead. Okay, don't ask. Your doctor tells you what you need. He doesn't ask. And so you have to understand this, that if you could ask all the right questions, right? But if you ask questions like this, so how does that make you feel? Prospects are going to look at you like, what the fuck is this idiot doing, right? Because in the sales call, only one of you can be upset and emotional, right? In the doctor's room, only one of you can be crying because your leg hurts. If the doctor was crying because your leg hurts, you'd be like, I got to go find a new doctor. This guy's pussy, okay? And so you have to be the guy that people come to, the rock that people go to for help, for guidance. And if you crumble and you crack and you don't sound or look or feel confident, they can feel that. And literally, their trust goes down. Their confidence in you to solve their problem goes down. And as a matter of fact, they'll become less and less and less certain. And the less certain they get, the more indecisive they get. The more indecisive they get, the less likely they will buy. Okay? Cool. Alrighty. Now, once you understand all of the above, everything we talked about for the last 4 minutes, now it's time to build a sales process. Now it's time to get into it. But you cannot do this, the stuff I'm about to show you, if you don't get everything up above. Because that's the foundations. It's like building a house on sand. You can build a nice house on sand, but the second the water comes, it's gone. It's going to sink, it's going to die, whatever. Okay. And so you have to build your house on a proper foundation. And so what we've just done is laid the foundation. Apologies, my Loom crashed out and just shut it off. But let's dive into this and show you the entire script / sales process that I use, the framework that you can copy. So here's my framework: intro, discovery, transition, pitch, objections. It's very simple, yet very effective. If you want to complicate the sale, we will actually, as a matter of fact, you want to make it easier, because the easier we make it, the easier just to remember and the easier just to get the prospect to say yes. Okay. So let me actually show you this framework and give you some sample questions of how a call could go. So intro, right? Hey, name, how are we doing today? Right. Just general, how's it going? Right. Just super casual, normal greeting. Right. After that, I'm not going to dick around. I want to get to the point. All right. So tell me, John, right? Like what's going on here? I mean, like, that's the most important thing for me, is how can I help? Okay. I want to get the prospect to open up. I want them to feel like I'm here to help them, but I also want them to understand, like, I mean business. All right. Because we're here to solve a problem. I'm not here to try and become the friend the same way. The doctor, if you go to the doctor and it's just a checkup, he may be like, how are things going? How's things with the wife? How's this? How's that? But if you're coming in, doc, I think I broke my leg, he's not going to say, oh, how's the wife going? Yeah. Oh, how are the kids? No, he's going to say, oh, shit. Okay, what'd you do? What's going on? How long? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, he's going to get right to it. Okay, so depending on the size of the problem, kind of dictates how much rapport you can build. All right, so after that, what's going on? Right, another question you could ask is what are we here for? Right, what are we doing, John? Right, how can I help? What did you book this call for? Now, people typically give you like well, I just want to check it out. All right, I can respect that, but I take it you probably don't go checking out things all day. And so what specifically about the ad that you clicked made you want to actually jump on this call to spend 30 minutes of your time here? Right. Once again, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm not going to let them lead the call. They're here. I'll give you some sauce here. People are only on the sales call because they have a problem. I mean that. Okay, I'll tell you why. If they knew they wanted to buy and they already knew they're going to pay the price, they wouldn't hop on the call. They say, pay the invoice, I'll pay it right now. Now, if the prospect didn't have a problem at all and they had nothing to solve, they would never hop on the call because they'd be completely content. Right? For example, if you're happily married and another girl comes up to you and says, hey, want to hang out? You're not going to be like, oh, maybe. Yeah, let's go get a drink. You're like, no, I'm happy. No, I'm good. See ya. I'm married. I don't need you. I'm content. Okay? And so if someone's already happily married, they wouldn't show up to the call. So the only reason why they're on the call is if they have a bit of doubt, if they have a bit of uncertainty, if they're seeing if there could be something better. It means there is a problem. If they're seeing that something could be better, it means there's something going wrong right now. Okay? Now, they may be a bit more tough to get out of them, but you can still probe that out of them. Okay. And so in these questions, you just got to know the right word tracks to get them to give you the thing to latch onto to go on to the discovery. Because based on what they say here is what we're going to be talking on the discovery. For example, hey, what do we have? How can I help? Yeah, man, I haven't been able to close deals. Okay, gotcha. Right? Haven't been able to close deals. Okay, well, why? Right? We want to figure out why. Like, what's the problem? Why can't they close deals? That's where we're going to go in discovery. Right? So what are you doing now about closing deals? Right? What are you doing now to get more deals? All right. A really good question, especially for stuck-up prospects. Why not double down on that? Why not continue doing what you're doing? They'll typically tell you literally why they want to change. Why is this important? If you want someone to decide at the end of the call, you have to get them to understand why they need to make a decision. This is a really good question, especially for tough stuck-up prospects. Okay. How long has it been going on? Make them feel the pain in the past. Okay. Expand that time horizon. How would things change if you fix this? You could also ask another good question. Right? Once again, I'm not a sales pro. I don't have all the best questions in here, but another good question is what would happen if this problem stayed going on for the next 3 to 6 months? Okay, another question. How would things change if you fix this? This is future pacing, getting them to imagine themselves with the solution fixed. Right? What is the goal in 3 to 6 months? Where are you trying to get to? Right? Is what you're doing now going to get you there? No. Okay, you need to make a change. Okay, getting them to feel like they have to make a change. Otherwise, when you pitch them, they're going to be like, yeah, but my leg doesn't hurt that bad. I don't need to pay $10,000 for surgery. Okay, you're going to make them feel like they got cancer. You're going to make them feel like they got a tumor growing. Yeah, not hurt that bad now, but it's going to hurt. Right? Or you make them realize, wow, it's really actually been hurting me for 10 years, not just the 1 week I thought it was. Okay, another good question. Why is now the time to make a change? Why not wait? This gets them to tell you literally why they can't say anything about it. Why they can't say, I need to wait. Okay, because you're really asking, why not wait? You're basically telling them, hey, why not hop off the call? Why not just keep living with the problem? And they'll tell you why the problem is so bad. All right, now it's time to transition. After you've done your discovery, after you've got all the questions you need to ask, okay, you've made them feel a bit of pain a little bit, okay? And you don't do this to make them emotional. You do this to help you, right? You do this to help them decide. Okay, so you understand what's going on. Otherwise, you can't prescribe them the proper solution, which goes into transition, All right. Okay, John. So based on kind of what you told me about you struggling to get deals and the lead quality that's kind of been dropping a bit in, in correlation to you not, being able to post as much on social media because you don't have as much time anymore, and you wanting to get to 100K a month, but not really knowing how, I know we can help, right? I don't say that lightly. And so is it kind of cool if I run over how we could implement our systems to fix those things and get you to 100K a month? Notice how this transition is very specific to their problems and goals. Because once again, I want to make them feel like I understand their problems. That's where trust comes from, is how much you understand someone, not how much rapport you build, not how much they know about you and your childhood. It's how much you understand them. Okay. So after you get through this, it's time to pitch. And then the pitch, all you want to do is very simple. You want to keep it very simple, very clean, very elegant, is just screen share a live example of you fixing their problems for someone else and how you'll do it for them. So show them, don't tell them. Show them exactly what you're going to do. Show them and relate to all their problems, right? So, John, remember how you said that one of your biggest problems is time and not being able to call the leads? So we actually have an internal sales team that calls and double price qualifies all the leads for you, so you don't have to actually talk to anyone until they've been double price qualified and book right into your calendar. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. Do you think that would help you? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So once again, these little tie downs. And then once you're done with your pitch, before you do price, get commitment, right? Get commitment that they want to make a change, get commitment they think this is going to work. All right. Then just drop the investment. All right, John, the investment required to solve this problem and get you to goal is X, and shut up. Okay. You shut up, you wait for them to talk, and then they're going to give you an objection. That's typically how calls work. And then you got to handle the objection. Now, I'm not going to go through objection handling in this video. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll give you guys all this documents. I'll put it in the description of the comments. Go check it out. And then in this doc, you can also see 2 videos I've made on how to handle objections. So there you go. That's my $1 million sales process that I and my partners have used. I'm not saying it'll work for you. I'm just showing you what I've done. I hope it can help you. If you have any questions, either comment or there might be a link to my Discord. You can go check it out. Ask me any questions. I'll be more than happy to help. Otherwise, I hope you can use this to make some more damn money. And if you are someone that wants to potentially partner with me to have me implement all my systems for you, you can find me somewhere and DM me. I'm not going to pitch you. Just figure me out.